Hello, everybody, and welcome back. Somebody asked me the other week how I created this image. So I thought I would share it with you today because this was really about awareness, and it's what I call one of the key components to creating these kind of images. We can easily get hung up on camera settings, but once you've got your camera settings, really it's what you do and your awareness of what is going on in the environment that really helps you start to have some real big fun with these techniques. So in this situation, my doggie was in motion. I saw her coming out the corner of my eye, and I was very aware that there was quite a strong breeze that morning coming in from the other direction. So it was really about adapting and timing the movement of the trees, the movement of the doggie, how fast is she going, how strong is the breeze. If I'm on a very long shutter, they're going to blur because as the trees are moving so strongly, I can't control that. So a very long shutter speed is going to capture too much movement and just make it a complete blur. And I've got to pan with the dog. So I don't want to be doing that for too long a period of time because she's going to become a streak. And then, of course, again, we've got the trees becoming a blur. So it's becoming aware of the environment and the timing of everything. So I'll get myself into situations where you can have more predictability over what people are going to do because they're hemmed in by a building and the fence. You can make an educated guess that they're not suddenly about to turn right or left. You know that they're likely to be moving away from you or coming towards you. So creating predictability by moving into a position really does help. And also then adapting to what's going on in the environment. So this particular day, I really wanted to capture the light and this person standing with their camera gazing out onto the ocean. So I took my horizontal pan first. There was a lot of people around, so I waited till they'd all moved out the scene. I did a horizontal pan, very subtle movement, and then I waited. And I changed my camera settings because of the light. I knew what I was likely to get because I was on dark blend mode. So I thought, okay, let's just set the camera up. And I was sat on a wall some distance away and I just waited for that definitive moment. So very often people say to me, what were your camera settings? And if it's a double exposure, they're not always the same from one shot to the other. So it's adapting to the light, adapting to people's movement and what is likely to happen. So I waited actually a few minutes. It was more than a few seconds. I had to wait some time for everybody else to move out of the scene again to capture that second shot. So this is another double exposure caught in the camera. And when I talk about awareness, that day when I got to the quay, the tide was out incredibly low. So the water in this area was so low, this boat was forced to go up and down in lines. It couldn't suddenly veer off in a different direction because there wasn't enough water. So I sat there for a bit playing around with capturing the boat in motion on a double exposure, which is not easy because it's moving constantly. Lining things up is extremely difficult. So I've sped up the shutter. This person then came along and stood there. And so I'd already got one that I quite liked of the boat in motion. And I thought, I just wonder if I can manage to capture the person as well. So again, double exposure in the camera, managing to capture them both only really worked because the boat had now gone very slowly and was quite predictable in its direction. And the person, luckily, did not move too much. But you are having to adapt. You're being aware of what's going on. What's that person likely to do? Are they looking at something that's going to capture their attention long enough to you to make those very fast movements? And one thing I would say when I'm doing double exposure in the camera is I very rarely take the vertical shot first. I usually make my horizontal pan first and then the vertical. So I know that you probably want to know my camera settings and what I was using to capture these images. So from the top left with the dog, that's on the iPhone because I always take my iPhone out on the doggy walk in the mornings. And I was on about half a second, whereas my favourite shutter speed is usually 2 or 3 seconds on the iPhone, but I will speed that up in that situation. The one on the right, the boat, is on the Fuji. So that was double exposure in the camera, and I would have been using again about half a second. I've not checked, but I would have been going around half a second. I rarely go faster than that. And certainly when there's motion going on, you don't want a second, it's far too long. And then the two at the key in the sunset are the images I shared on Instagram this week. I've been experimenting a lot with returning to the same place on the same day at the same time of same time of year, Bank Holiday Friday in May, just to see how different the place is and the energy and the vibe of it. So both on the iPhone and both on around a half a second. I And the bottom right is now back on the camera again on the Fuji. Again, a double exposure in the camera using dark blend mode. In that instance, I was on a second for the horizontal pan, and then I sped up my shutter and adjusted my other settings to get that exposure to capture that light coming down, which was really the subject. I just like to have somebody in the frame as well, and that person just gazing out like that. It kind of reminded me of me sitting there gazing out, thinking, wow, just look at that light. So being aware of environmental movement, being aware of what is going on and adjusting yourself where you stand, how you can make the situation more predictable and speeding up the shutter to match the situation rather than worrying about my settings or anybody else's is probably really going to help you out having way more fun getting out capturing these images. So again, just to remind you, the tutorial series, which is a series, it's 7 or 8 hours on there at the moment of pre-recorded material in lots of separate webinars, is available now on my website. So I will be adding to it over the year. I've got another tutorial coming along, which is going to be added on in the next few weeks, and I'll be continuing to share new content on there over the year. So if you're interested in that, it's on my website. I've put a link directly to it in the description for this video. Thanks so much for watching. Thank you for being here, and I will look forward to seeing you again really soon. Bye, everyone.